I am post-abortive. When I was 21 years old, I wasn't walking with the Lord. I didn't know much of anything. I was a mess of a human being back then. I didn't come to know the Lord until I was 24, so I was very promiscuous and just getting in lots of trouble. And after a trauma of being sexually assaulted, one night I was consoling with a friend, and one thing led to another, and the one and only time we had sex, I got pregnant. I was really ignorant, and I was gripped with fear. I didn't have any supportive family or friends. I didn't know anything, but I did know of Planned Parenthood. So I went to Planned Parenthood and I told them my sad story, and they did an ultrasound, which I didn't get to see, but they were able to tell me I was 11 weeks pregnant. I was just so afraid, and they offered me no other options or anything, no counseling, and they just said we could take care of your problem. I just didn't know what to do. I knew the person, the father, didn't want to marry me. I didn't want to marry him, actually. The relationship was a mistake. So much of my life was a mistake at that time. And there were no options. I didn't ask, at least I don't remember, but there was nothing offered. There was no counseling of any kind. It was just like, you're 11 weeks pregnant. And I'm like, I don't know what to do. I can't have a baby. Really, the main thing I remember them saying is, we can take care of your problem. It's okay. I've had an experience where when I was at a different church and I tried to come forward and talk about this, I was told that we can't talk about it because it's a political issue. And what churches don't realize is that that church prevented my healing by not talking about it. They actually contributed more to my wound because they didn't make me feel like I mattered, or this issue, this life and death issue, mattered enough for them to be bold and brave and courageous. And I think it's critically important. The church, in my view, should be on the front lines of this mission field created by abortion. When I met my first husband, he shared the gospel with me, and I realized that was the love that I was looking for my whole life, was Jesus. He told me how much God loves me and how he forgives me, and that's what I needed to hear, because I had a lot of forgiving that needed to happen. I didn't think I'd be able to have children after what I had done, and we prayed and waited for 5 years for him to come around, and then God blessed us with Zach, which comes from Zechariah in the Bible, and that means Yahweh remembers. And so that was because God remembered my prayers. He remembered the longing of my heart and gave me a son. There was still unresolved guilt and shame from my abortion that just led to so many other terrible decisions that led me into more sin, and that needed to be dealt with. So even though I was, a believer, I didn't fully trust Jesus to be enough. I wasn't fully captivated by his love, which allowed me to be captivated by somebody else's love. And so my first marriage did not last, and we were married 20 years, but again, like I said, we were a bit of a mess. The Lord just met me one night when I was in a pit of despair and just reminded me of when I was saved at 24, of that he loved me and that he died for all my sins, past, present, and future. And he just called me home, and he said, return to your first love. And so I started going back to church and started reading my Bible again. And it wasn't long after that I met my husband now. We've been married 6 years, and my husband, Mark, has no obligation to please me or complete me, because only Jesus can. So he is set free to just be himself, and I love him just as he is. And so as a result of us being able to have learned to love the way God loves us unconditionally, we have a really beautiful, healthy marriage.